Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. Yes, I'm the Grand Poobah. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, December 10th, 2019. This is episode 407 of The Daily Dope. If this is the first time you join me, let me point out this is a very, very casual show. This is a live stream, and I just basically talk about tabletop gaming news. Every once in a while, maybe a little pop culture, but for the most part, we're just talking about gaming. And of course, because it is live, that also means that there is chat available here on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will respond. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel. If you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because not only will it notify you when the stream goes live within about a minute or so, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos get uploaded, which I've got two, which should be hitting tonight. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And of course, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up and take it from there, right? Hopefully, if you're watching all the time, you give a thumbs up to the video because you like the show. I would hope. You never know. Some people are just masochists. What can I tell you? So anyway, and of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And tell a friend, in fact, tell two friends about thegaminggang.com and the Gaming Gang channel. Let's see, we've got the Madman in chat. We've got John Vogel in chat already. So, already got a little bit of chat cooking here. So before I jump into the news, and I do have a good amount of news tonight, I did want to mention, got an email from somebody who watched last night's show, and they were asking, well, why do you hate Steve Jackson Games? It's like, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate any person or any entity, any company. There's nothing in this world that I hate. That is just not a word that is in my vocabulary. I might dislike something, or I may not like the way people do business, or I may not like somebody's personality, but I do not hate anything. Just because we were talking about the 6-pack, the bundle of the like clamshell box games, they call them pocket boxes over at Steve Jackson Games. My big beef, and I think everybody in chat kind of were agreeing with me, that 6 of these small footprint games that back in the day sold for $4 and $5 at most, you're getting 6 of them for $100 or 5 cents less than $100. To me, is insane. It's a ripoff, and pretty much everyone in chat agreed. So I wasn't saying anything like, oh, well, I hate Steve Jackson Games. They haven't treated me well in my 10 years of doing this, but I thought it was kind of a cool news piece. There were some cool games that were being released, and I also wanted to point out that I thought the pricing is absolutely insane. So, in fact, and you know what? The Madman's, that is funny. Did I just say absolutely insane? Because the Madman, just as I glanced up, his chat went boink, and it said absolutely insane. It's like the second time in 2 nights I've said the exact same thing someone in chat has said. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I guess we're all on the same wavelength a little bit. So that's all I wanted to mention. I don't hate Steve Jackson Games. If I despise them or something like that, I would never share any news. I just, every once in a while, like I shared the Car Wars news, and it's kind of, I don't know. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't hate anybody or anything. As Vampire Online pops in to pop into chat, yes, get out of our minds. And the madman's like, yeah, scary stuff. You know. Hey, Kabuki Kid is in a house as well. Double K has arrived. Already got a good chat popping, and haven't even jumped into the news yet, which I am going to do right now. Because Stronghold Games is going to be releasing a new expansion for their mega hit, Terraforming Mars. It's coming out on New Year's Eve. And I've got the dope on Turmoil. Turmoil, the 5th expansion to Terraforming Mars, takes players back to Mars and back to the struggle for control and progress of human society on a big and dangerous planet. The expansion includes new corporations, new projects, and new types of cards. Global events, from dust storms to riots to rising alloy demand, they will give you something to plan for 3 generations in advance. At the heart of this is the political arena of the Terraforming Committee. A new action allows players to add delegates to different parties. The first delegate each generation is free, and additional ones cost 5 MC. Neutral delegates are added by the global events, representing the wishes and trends of society. When a player, even the neutral player, has more delegates in a party than any other player, that player takes over the party leader seat for that party, and when a party has more delegates than any other party, it becomes dominant. The dominant party will become ruling during the next generation, imposing its one-time bonus, invoking its ongoing policy, and granting chairmanship for its party leader, awarding that player 1 terraform rating. The political arena also determines the player's influence, which can be used to moderate or enhance the effect of the current global event. Influence is gained from being the chairman of the committee, being party leader in the dominant party, and for having a non-leader delegate in the dominant party. In order to pay for all these bonuses, the committee is revising the terraform rating, lowering it for all players by 1 step each generation. In Turmoil, players can try to either force their own agenda or push it in a more moderate economic way. They can play to mitigate global events with influence or adjust their play to better take advantage of them. And they can anticipate the competing players' agendas and try to benefit from them, or they can counteract them. Turmoil is an expert expansion. Be prepared to meet the full spectrum of human civilization in the era of Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars Turmoil is for 1 to 5 players ages 12 and up, plays in about 2 hours, and will carry an MSRP of $34.95 when it arrives on January 31st. Do want to also mention that there is also player boards. New player boards are in this expansion. So that is why it is a bit pricier than what you would normally see as far as the smaller footprint expansions for Terraforming Mars. So as far as I understand, these new player boards are kind of cut. So it's you've seen these before, this kind of stuff, where when you put your cubes into the board, you can kind of bump it around. They're not going to move around because they're recessed, so they sit down in there. So that is one of the big things that's also part of this expansion. So I'm kind of curious. Now, I really like Terraforming Mars. I think it's a lot of fun. I showed Elliot Miller how to play it. We've played it a couple of times. I've played it more than just a couple, but with Elliot, I've played it a couple of times. And I don't know. Now, I understand a little birdie named Stephen Bonacore told me that this was supposed to be the final expansion for Terraforming Mars. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know, because the game still sells like gangbusters. I don't know, but then again, if you look at all these expansions, it's getting to the point where there's just going to be just too much glut in the game. And I mean, do you really want to play Terraforming Mars for 4 hours? I probably wouldn't mind, because I'm still of the mentality from way back in the day when we could spend an entire day and night playing a single game. But I don't know if other people will either. So let's see. As far as chat, we got some more folks popping into chat. Good to see Flaming Huron. Howdy, howdy. Hubcam210 is in chat as well. So yes, Kabuki Kid is saying, crazy how many expansions this game has. And the Madman says that they just received the Turmoil Kickstarter yesterday, but have not cracked it open yet. Kabuki Kid also says that, yes, they had heard Stephen Bonacore say that this is the final expansion as well. I don't know. So how long do we have until a deluxe edition of Terraforming Mars? I don't know. That's a lot of expansions to try to squeeze into a box. Plus, what are they going to charge? $150 or more? I don't know. I don't know if we will see a deluxe edition. If we saw a deluxe edition, and I will pop out from showing those, and I kind of feel this way myself, a deluxe edition, I would like to see better cardstock, a little better quality of the metallic cubes, because that metallic paint comes off pretty easily, and the kind of player boards that they've got in the Turmoil expansion, that's what I would like to see in, say, a deluxe edition of the game. Maybe even toss one of the expansions in or something like that. But I don't know. I have no idea. So Fleming Huron also mentions Talisman. Talisman had plenty of expansions also. And maybe a 10th anniversary edition of Terraforming Mars. Anything's possible, Kabuki Kid. Anything is possible. It's, how long has it been out now? 3 years? I think it's 3. 4? I know it's not any newer than 3 years, that's for sure. So, next news piece. The second edition of Atlantis Rising is arriving in January from Elf Creek Games. I've got the dope. The Isle of Atlantis, your home, is sinking. Will you be able to save your people in time? Atlantis Rising is a cooperative worker placement game in which you must work together with up to 5 other players to deploy citizens across your homeland, gathering resources in order to build a cosmic gate that can save your people. Workers placed close to the shoreline are more rewarding, but are more likely to be flooded and their actions lost. Every turn, each player draws a misfortune card that will flood certain locations along the ever-shrinking Atlantis shoreline, or may otherwise work to undermine your efforts to save your people. So you must race to gather the necessary resources to build and power the gate before the island disappears beneath the waves forever. This edition contains all new art and graphic design, created to bring even more attention to the thematic setting of the game. The Athenians attack phase has been replaced with the Wrath of the Gods phase, requiring more strategic planning and adding to the sense of urgency. Now, instead of placing workers in an Atlantean navy, players must cooperatively decide to flood a set number of tiles at the end of each round. To further aid them in their task, Counselor player powers have been expanded and made more impactful, and the knowledge deck has similarly been revised and expanded. The variable gate components, once built, no longer offer one-time bonuses, but create new worker placement spots where players can send Atlantean workers to unleash actions to help save their island. This new edition of Atlantis Rising is for 1 to 7 players. So that's strange. So the sell sheet information said you and up to 5 other players, but it does say it's up to 7 players, I believe. Ages 10 and up, plays in 1 to 2 hours. I'm sure that's probably depending on your player count. And it will carry an MSRP of $65 when it arrives in stores on January 8th. This looks pretty cool. This looks pretty nice. Pretty good looking components and everything here. It's kind of an interesting kind of island map there, or island board, I guess I will say as well. I have to be honest, I have no clue about this game outside of what I've just shared. I believe the original title arrived, I think it's from like around 2012, I think is when it came out. And Elf Creek Games was not around back then. So this is a new edition with a different company. So that's it for the board game news. It was kind of a slow news day as far as board games go, but there's plenty of role-playing game news. As Kabuki Kid mentions that Terraforming Mars came out in 2016, according to Board Game Geek. That was about 3 years old. Anyway, Hunters Entertainment and Renegade Game Studios are going to be teaming to release a new edition of Werewolf the Apocalypse. It's going to be coming in 2021. And here's a wee bit of dope. Hunters Entertainment, Kids on Bikes, Outbreak Undead, Altered Carbon, is excited and proud to announce their partnership with Paradox Interactive, the owners of the World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2, Mage the Ascension, etc., to develop and publish Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th Edition, the next evolution of the fan-favorite tabletop role-playing game through Renegade Games. Scott Pilgrim, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Clank, Lanterns, etc. Werewolf the Apocalypse takes place in a fictional version of our Earth, the World of Darkness. In the World of Darkness, werewolves, vampires, magicians, and monsters are all living among us. An entire supernatural world hidden in plain sight. You are one of these monsters, pretending to be human but fighting for survival and supremacy among mysteries and conspiracies that threaten the existence of humanity. Players will play as Guru, individuals born of two worlds, the material and the Umbra, spirit world, who can shapeshift into wolves at will. In Werewolf the Apocalypse, the world Gaia is dying. After many generations, the Guru, Gaia's chosen warriors and defenders, are divided on how to save the planet, their spiritual mother. Attacked by outside forces and plagued by infighting, each Guru tribe shares different ideologies and goals which have, up to this point, all failed them in their ultimate goal, to rescue a dying Gaia. Mechanically, the game is set to share a lot of similarities with the recent release of Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, but will have a lot of elements that make it unique. The last tabletop RPG publication for Werewolf was 14 years ago, in 2005. Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th Edition will be marketed and distributed by Renegade Game Studios and will be available in retail stores internationally and online. There is about a minute-long teaser trailer. I figured, why not? Let's take a peek. I will share it with you. When I said it was a teaser trailer, I was not kidding. That is a teaser. Tells you basically nothing about the game. Except that we'll see it in 2021. My estimation will be a Gen Con release. More in-depth details, of course, are not forthcoming. So, once they do become available, I will certainly share the information with you. I'll be the first to point out I have never actually played Werewolf the Apocalypse. I don't even recall reading the core book. And I used to pick up some of the core materials for Vampire the Masquerade, the first edition, way back in the day when it was published right here in the Chicago area. In fact, I want to say it was Chicago itself, where White Wolf was located. But I don't know. I have no no dog in this fight. Or wolf in this fight, maybe I should say. But it should be interesting. I'm kind of curious, a little curious about this. You know, Hunters Entertainment did great work on Kids on Bikes and Kids in Space. And I think their new edition of Outbreak Undead is awful. It's just brutally bad, in my opinion. So I don't know where this is going to end up. I don't know where this is going to land. But I will tell you this. Paradox Interactive does not mess around with this World of Darkness IP. Because we already saw what happened when there were some hiccups along the lines with Vampire the Masquerade and how quickly that went over to Modiphius Entertainment. So there we go. So yes, the Madman says, yeah, 2021 looks interesting, but a long time to wait. And HubCam210 says, I think my cousin had it in a card game form. There was also a Vampire the Masquerade card game. I think I tried playing the Vampire one time. I think we picked up a couple of decks and we're kind of like, we'll stick to Magic. So yes, Flaming Heron's pointing out that there's a computer game release that's coming out. I wasn't aware of Werewolf getting a PC game. I know Vampire the Masquerade, we're expecting that next year come up, but I wasn't aware of a Werewolf PC game, but who knows? Maybe that's why. But yeah, pretty interesting that Paradox Interactive picked up World of Darkness, because Paradox Interactive, they're a computer game company. Which actually, I should point out, there's an awesome Humble Bundle right now for some Paradox games, which I think I will share tomorrow, because they're all like management simulation kind of games. So, speaking of Humble Bundles, though, yesterday I was talking about the awesome 5th edition open game license Humble Bundle that you could score some fantastic deals. Well, guess what? Today, we've got a new Pathfinder bundle from Paizo Inc. Here's the dope. Delve into the rich lore of Pathfinder's Age of Lost Omens campaign setting. Get Sandport, Light of the Lost Coast, Guide to Absalom, Planar Adventures, and more. So, let me give you a bit of a breakdown. So for $1 or more, because remember, there's a charity involved in this too, but for $1 or more, you'll receive PDFs. Yeah, let me grab a sip here. There we go. As Tog arrives. Yes, the original Grognard. Good to see you, Tog. Anyway, for $1, you're going to receive PDFs of Guide to Absalom, Cities of Golarion, the Inner Sea Primer, and a total of 7 PDFs for $1. For $10 or more, you can add such titles as the Inner Sea World Guide, Guide to the River Kingdoms, Isles of the Shackles, and more. So there, for $10, you'll get a total of 16 PDFs. For $18 or more, you can add Guide to Corvosa, City of Strangers, Lands of Conflict, and a total of 27 PDFs. For $25, now this one has more levels than we're used to seeing with most of the Humble Bundles. For $25, you'll also receive titles such as Aquatic Adventures, Distant Worlds, and People of the Stars, and a total of 39 PDFs. And for $40, this is the top level, you'll unlock everything. So for $40, you'll get essentially $679 worth of PDFs, also including Legacy of the First World, Planes of Power, Horror Realms, and a total of 50 PDFs. So now keep in mind, these are all first edition. We don't have all these books out in second edition by any stretch of the imagination. These are all first edition Pathfinder. These are all kind of campaigns and settings guides. So pretty easy to port this stuff over to second edition as opposed to specific adventures. But if you think about it, if you go $40, you're looking at less than $1 a PDF. You're getting thousands of pages of game material for Pathfinder for $40. Do want to point out the savings for this do run through December 30th. That said, there is also the Pathfinder role-playing game and comic bundle that I did mention about a week and a half ago. Today is the last day. Well, into tomorrow. I think you've got probably about 15 hours left for that. So it is possible right now for you to spend about $65 and score yourself. I think it totals out to 69 Pathfinder PDFs and add on top of that the comics. So a pretty sweet deal to jump in, and even if you've never checked out Pathfinder, there's really no better time than now to at least get an idea of like the game system itself, because there have been changes with second edition, which I was very impressed that they just didn't iron out a few kinks in the system previously. They pretty much revamped the system, but still, that is an awesome bundle. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. So okay, that was something I was not aware of. Flaming Heron points out that they picked up the base bundle when it was offered last time. Kabuki Kid's like, Pathfinder Orama, yes. So let's talk about another bundle, because Bundle of Holding's not going to be outdone. Oh, okay, for that price they are being outdone, but there's a new bundle from them as well. It's from Modiphius Entertainment. I've got the dope on the Infinity Bundle. Agent. This Infinity RPG bundle features the Modiphius Entertainment tabletop role-playing game of spacefaring adventure in the human sphere and beyond. Based on Corvus Belli's popular Infinity miniature skirmish game, the Infinity RPG casts you as Bureau Noir law enforcement agents undertaking missions on a dozen worlds. Track down pirates amid the shattered planetoids of Human Edge. Delve into the oceans of Varuna. Duck gunfire in the twisted emerald jungles of Paradiso. Pursue rogue AIs through nomad motherships. Meanwhile, from beyond the human sphere, the alien combined army has invaded, threatening to destroy humanity. I hate when that happens. This bargain price offer gives you the most Infinity RPG game line materials published to date. Everything you need for spacefaring adventures in the style of Appleseed, Ghost in the Shell, and Richard K. Morgan's cyberpunk novel Altered Carbon. I can see the Appleseed. I don't know if I see the Ghost in the Shell, because Ghost in the Shell, we have not gone out into space. So I don't know. I disagree with that, the way that they're Appleseed 2, we're not in space either. So I don't know. I don't know who wrote this. I think they're wrong. Anyway, for just $9.95, you get all 3 titles in the starter collection, which holds a retail value of $46. You get them as PDF ebooks, including the full-color 528-page Infinity RPG core book, plus the free quick start and character sheets, the scenario collection Adventures in the Human Sphere, and the Infinity GM screen. If you pay more than the threshold price of $19.25, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 4 more titles worth an additional $44, including the 196-page Infinity RPG Game Master's Guide, the faction sourcebooks Ariadna, and Hakislam, and the full-length adventure Quantronic Heat. These savings will run through January 3rd, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to the charity chosen by Chris Birch of Modiphius Entertainment, Vision Rescue. So if you have had any notion of checking out the Infinity role-playing game, by all means, this is the time to do it. And get it fairly inexpensive. So, and of course, this is a 2D20 system for Infinity. So if you are familiar with Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of, or Star Trek Adventures, you're going to be able to take to this like a duck to water, because it is also part of the 2D20 system. I always want to say D20. It's 2D20. All right, so Kabuki Kid is pointing out that this Earthblood is based on White Wolf Publishing's tabletop role-playing game, Werewolf the Apocalypse. And that is on the Earthblood Wikipedia article. So Flaming Heron is asking, is this more crunchy? That I don't know. I would take a stab. Now, this is just, I'm pulling this out of a hat. It's coming out of a hat. I do not know. I would take a guess this is probably crunchy. Not, the 2D20 is a little bit crunchy, but it's not crazy crunchy. You know, it's not like, what was the mech game way back in like the early 90s that was just insanely, just, it was like, oh my gosh, how much of this how many of these die rolls do you have to do just to like do a single thing? Damn, I can't remember it. It is, I'm going to take a guess, it's probably crunchier than Star Trek. Maybe about as crunchy as Conan. That's my guess. But then again, I'm not familiar with this at all. You know, like the Star Trek 2D20 is actually pretty simple. No, Kabuki Kid, it's not Robotech. It was not based. It was a role-playing game that was created its own IP. It wasn't based on anything else. It wasn't based on an anime or anything. I want to say, I think the company that did it was Leading Edge. Hey, Jeff Moore, welcome aboard. I believe this is Jeff's first visit in chat. No, not Battletech. Everybody's like, Battletech? It's like, no, not Battletech. Yeah, Flaming Heron says, yeah, the page count for Infinity for the core book is like 538 pages. That leads me to think that this is kind of crunchy. I don't know. It's just the impression I've got. So, yeah, I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was from Leading. I think the company was called Leading Edge. Phoenix Command. That may have been it. I think that might have been it. I think it was Phoenix Command. So, there we go. Kabuki Kid saying, love their Aliens board game. I remember that. I remember the Aliens board game. So that's kind of funny that Kabuki Kid mentions the Aliens board game, because my final news piece is regarding the highly anticipated Alien role-playing game. Yes, because it has arrived from Free League Publishing, and I've got the dope. Thank you for that segue, Kabuki Kid. I can't lie to you about your chances, but you'll have my sympathies. Space is vast, dark, and not your friend. Gamma rays and neutrino bursts erupt from dying stars to cook you alive. Black holes tear you apart, and the void itself boils your blood and seizes your brain. Try to scream, and no one can hear you. Hold your breath, and you rupture your lungs. Space isn't as empty as you'd think either. Its frontiers are ever expanding. Rival governments wage a cold war of aggression, while greedy corporations vie for valuable resources. Colonists reach for the stars and gamble with their lives. Each new world tamed is either feast or famine. And there are things lurking in the shadows of every asteroid. Things strange and different and deadly. Things which are alien. This is the official Alien tabletop role-playing game, a universe of body horror and corporate brinksmanship, where synthetic people play God, while space truckers and marines serve host to newborn ghoulish creatures. It's a harsh and unforgiving universe, and you are nothing if not expendable. Stay alive if you can. The Alien tabletop role-playing game is a beautifully illustrated full-color book of 392 pages, both presenting the world of Alien in the year 2183 and a fast and effective rule set designed specifically to enhance the Alien experience. This game supports two distinct game modes. Cinematic play is based on pre-made scenarios that emulate the dramatic arc of an Alien film. Designed to be played in a single session, this game mode emphasizes high stakes and fast and brutal play. You are not expected to survive. Oh, so it's H.P. Lovecraft stories, huh? The core rulebook contains one introductory cinematic scenario, Hope's Last Day. Then there's campaign play. Campaign play is designed for longer, continuous play with the same cast of player characters over many game sessions, letting you explore the Alien universe freely, sandbox style. The core rulebook contains random tables and other powerful tools to quickly create star systems, colonies, missions, encounters, and NPCs for your campaign. The rules of the game are based on the acclaimed Year Zero engine, used in award-winning games such as Tales from the Loop and Mutant Year Zero, but adapted and further developed to fully support and enhance the core themes of Alien, horror and action in the cold darkness of space. The Alien RPG is available in print through Free League for $49.99. That includes the PDF. You can get the PDF from Drive-Thru RPG for $24.99. Available now. That is correct. So, we already have our review. Sammy did her review of the PDF for Alien and loved it. She loved it. Off the top of my head, I think it's like a 9.6 out of 10. She liked it that much. And I have not taken a peek. So, but it is using the Year Zero engine. So that's not super crunchy. It's just 6-sided dice. 6s are successes. I'm sure there's tweaks to it. But pretty easy to get a handle on. And the artwork looks pretty nice. It looks like a pretty sweet book. And as I mentioned, you can get the physical book through Free League for $49.99 and at Drive-Thru RPG in PDF, if you only want the PDF, for $24.99. And of course, as I always like to point out when I talk about Drive-Thru RPG, the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to swing over to, say, Drive-Thru RPG or maybe Dungeon Masters Guild or any of those sites, please swing over to thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banners, and that way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little piece of that pie. Sometimes it's a nickel, sometimes it's a dime, sometimes a little bit more. But it all adds up, and it really does help out. And I appreciate there must be dozens and dozens and dozens of people who do make their purchases by clicking on our link first and then shopping, because our little piece of the pie there pretty much pays for the hosting for the website each and every month, which keeps the website around, right? So I'm not out here saying, oh, go to my Patreon, go to my Kickstarter. So, all right, let's see what's cooking in chat. So Jeff Moore says their favorite mech RPG is Mechton 2. Yeah, that's from, oh, geez, now I can't get, Artel Saurian. It's like, yeah, because it's a Mike Pondsmith design. So, Kabuki Kid says, I work for Wayland Yutani. I put my trust in them for my safety. Kabuki Kid also mentions that the Alien RPG sounds like Call of Cthulhu. Don't get attached to your character. Generally one-shot adventures. That is not necessarily true as far as Call of Cthulhu. Yeah, the one, like the, you know, the one-shots, the ones that aren't part of a big campaign, such as, say, Mask of Nyarlathotep or Horror on the Orient Express. Yeah, usually you'll probably see a halfway decent high player death count. But it's for those out there who have played a lot of Call of Cthulhu with a, you know, Game Master Keeper, I guess we'll say. it's not as brutal as people sometimes make it out to be. One of the reasons why people talk about it being so such a grinder, like a meat grinder for player characters, is because most people only play one-shot adventures, or they might play at a convention. And of course, when you're playing a role-playing game at a convention, it's usually a pretty high body count, no matter what you're kind of playing. So, added to the Madman's wish list. So, and say giving me a decent slice of the pie to me tomorrow. And then Flaming Heron says, I figure the campaign mode might be handled like the Alien movies. Maybe the last two. I mean, before that, they're all kind of all over the place. Once we go from Aliens, we go to Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection and Alien Genesis or whatever. Kind of was like, So I did also hear that the Alien and Predator universes are now separate. That we will not see any more Alien versus Predator releases of any sort because I guess the powers that be at the studios feel that is it's killing both franchises. I don't know about the Alien franchise because Ridley Scott had those two kind of odd Alien movies, which I liked them both, but they were different, and it was kind of like Ridley Scott saying, "I'll make the Alien movie I want to make. I don't care what anybody else wants." So there we go. All right. So Kabuki Kid points out, yes, they normally play one shots. So COC, we always call it C of C. COC is always brutal. Yeah, but you know what? In one shots on that, even when you make it like brutal, people remember those adventures. Especially when they have to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. It always sticks with people for a long time. Anyway, so I was talking about, I had put together some videos. I have some videos coming up. Tonight should see my review of Walking in Burano from AEG, as well as I took a look at these designer Batman plush toys. These are 7-inch from a company called Yumi Toys. They had sent three different ones to me, and I did a little bit of an unboxing. We took a peek at these, so that video will be up later on tonight as well. All right, so yes, Kabuki Kid says, shame they mishandled Alien versus Predator. Actually, you're right, Double K. The comic book source material was pretty good from Dark Horse. I remember that. I also remember picking up the Batman versus Predator from Dark Horse. Yes, way back in there. Oh my gosh, that is way, way, way back. All right, so that is it for tonight's show. Of course, I always like to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. If so, don't forget, ring that little bell, because that little bell will notify you not only when this stream goes live, it'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos, like you will see later on tonight. So, of course, I also like to point out, thank you to everyone who hung out and chat with me. Viper David popped in. Viper Dave, sorry I didn't say hello to you as you popped on in. So, good to have you popping in and actually stopping by before it's like, oh, yes, and be sure to visit the Gaming Gang. Oh, there's Viper Dave. That's all that comes out. But anyway, thank you so much to everybody who hung out and chat with me, keeping me company, so I don't feel like a complete doofus just talking into a camera, into the ether. But then again, if you don't watch live and you watch after the fact, which I know a lot of people do, I love you just as well. I have a soft spot in my heart for all of you. And if you haven't noticed, We're only about 35 subscribers away from hitting 2,000, which I know for most channels isn't any big deal, but for me, that's pretty cool. Especially since I think I've added on over 1,000 subscribers just in the past year. So pretty cool. I think in fact, in the last month, we pulled in like 140 new subscribers. So we're getting out there. People are kind of sharing it. One thing before I wrap up, I should point out, if any of you out there visit Reddit much, you might want to mention the Gaming Gang there, because I have noticed a couple of posts from Reddit have driven like a lot of traffic. In fact, the Eberron page through video somebody had posted on Reddit, a link to it, and it blew up. I mean, that video, which isn't that old, I think it's not even a month old. That is number 2 all time on the Gaming Gang as far as views. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that become number 1 maybe in the next couple of months, because it's still a couple of thousand views away from the top spot. Anyway, all right, so everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. I will be back tomorrow for a hump day show. So, of course, enjoy your evenings, and until tomorrow, happy trails. Whoa, hey. I didn't realize that you were still here. Well, if that's the case, then allow me to share the following information with you that I only have 20 seconds to do. So let's all take a deep breath. So if you would like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, please click right here. If you want to check out the latest episode of The Daily Dope, click right here. And if you'd like to check out a randomly selected standalone video, by all means, click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and thanks for watching.